My name is Duncan Douglass. I'm a partner at Alston & Bird in the Financial Services Practice Group, and I lead our payment systems team. Payment systems is such a fun and exciting space because it's rife with technology, and obviously the economy doesn't move without payments being made and received. But we're at a particularly exciting time because we have recently seen the introduction of a new payment system rail. And what I mean by payment system rail is a new clearing and settlement backbone. For the past 40 years, we've had a tremendous amount of innovation in the way payments are initiated, meaning I can now initiate a payment through my mobile application on my phone using devices, technology, and even the internet that didn't exist 40 years ago. But all of those payments are cleared and settled on rails that were developed at least 40 years ago, meaning that no new payment system rail has been implemented or introduced in the past 40 years until recently. When payments are processed, even though messaging related to the payment is sent and received in almost instantaneously, the actual movement of the money related to that payment doesn't take place for a day or two or three. With the advent of the new real-time clearing and settlement rail, now not only can transactions be initiated and messaging be exchanged in real time or near real time, but the actual funds can move between the payer and the payee in real time. And that has a number of exciting use cases, many of which we probably haven't even contemplated yet, but by way of example, for a use case that will be immediately beneficial or is immediately beneficial are employees who are paid by paper paycheck. If that same employer elected to use the new real-time clearing and settlement rail to make a payment to that employee, the employer wouldn't have to cut a paper check. The employee wouldn't have to pick up the paper check, and the employee wouldn't have to incur the hassle and expense of taking the paper check to a check casher to get access to the funds. The funds would be immediately available in the employee's account on payday. In addition to payment systems infrastructure, clearing and settlement infrastructure, short of the recently introduced real-time payment system, been in existence for at least 40 years, so has the legal regime that governs those payment systems. So when we talk about real-time clearing and settlement of transactions, those transactions are processed against a backdrop of laws that were adopted 40 plus years ago as well. And that does create very interesting opportunities and challenges for clients. Clients want to participate in, make available to their customers the real-time payment system, but they need to understand the legal rights and responsibilities of doing so. For example, most payments historically, most consumer-initiated payments historically have been pull payments. Those are payments where the consumer provides a payment credential, a debit card for example, to the payee that the payee, let's say a grocery store, uses to pull funds from the consumer's account. Those are pull payments, and legal regimes, payment systems rules, and consumer education has focused on helping consumers protect themselves against fraud and other types of mishaps related to pull payments. For example, we educate consumers about protecting their debit cards to make sure that fraudsters don't have access to the debit card number that they could then use to drain the customer's bank account. Real-time payments are based on push payments, where the consumer provides an instruction to their own bank to push funds out of the consumer's bank account to the recipient. That's a different type of payment initiation that carries with it very different risks from pull payments. Unlike pull payments, where one of the greatest risks is fraud in the initiation of the payment, meaning a fraudster gains access to a debit card or a debit card number and uses that information to pull unauthorized funds out of the consumer's account. Unauthorized transaction initiation is much less prevalent in push payments, because in push payments, The customer of the bank is providing instruction to its bank to send the money. And because of the pre-existing relationship between the bank and its customer, the bank is very well equipped to verify the identity of the customer initiating the payment. Much lower risk of unauthorized transaction initiation in push payments. However, push payments, particularly those relying on real-time settlement, inherently need to be final when made. If the funds are going to be made available for immediate access and withdrawal by the receiver of the payment, the transaction needs to be final when completed, which means the payment system can't really allow the consumer to reverse the transaction after the funds are made available to the recipient. That's a feature, not a bug, of real-time payments, but it is certainly a feature about which consumers will need to be educated, because again, in pull payments, there's generally much greater opportunity for a consumer to reverse a transaction and unwind a payment than there is in push payments, and consumers have been conditioned to expect that there is some element of reversibility to payments that they make. A significant element of consumer education is necessary. Similar to the carpenter's adage of measure twice, cut once, consumers need to be educated that once the funds are sent in a push payment that relies on real-time clearing and settlement, the funds are gone. So the consumer initiating a real-time payment needs to make sure that they know who they're paying, the amount that they're paying, and why they're paying it, and are comfortable with those characteristics, so that when they direct the bank to send the money, they are comfortable with the transaction not being reversible. We've had the good fortune of having clients who are developers of the new payments clearing and settlement infrastructure that is real-time payments, which has created opportunities for our payment systems team to evaluate the interplay between pre-existing laws and this new infrastructure and these new transaction types for several years. And this has created exciting opportunities both with those existing clients, but also for new clients who are just getting into real-time payments and are trying to navigate the differences and similarities between these new push real-time payments and long-standing existing pull payments that both providers and their customers have grown accustomed to processing. We've just started to scratch the surface in terms of use cases and technological interfaces that will leverage the new real-time push payments backbone. There are tremendous opportunities in the marketplace for real-time payments, and our role as payment systems lawyers in helping our clients navigate the landscape of challenges and opportunities is tremendously exciting and creates great opportunities for us to innovate as lawyers alongside our clients as they innovate with technology.